Welcome to the Vietnam War Vessels 320 update. We have added a few new assets to the mod and overhauled a few others. Before we go into the details of this update, let me start with something slightly different. With the release of the UF-100D Super Sabre from Colonial design, we have the most important fighter bomber of the air war over South Vietnam available. True, the Han also flew escorts over North Vietnam, but only for a limited amount of time. Compare this to the grind during the endless CAS and other sorties over the south of the country. The F-100D is a legendary plane in this role. Combined with the late war F-4E from Heatblur and the late war UH-1H from Valsimtech and Eagle Dynamics, we now have a respectable number of paid-for assets for recreating Vietnam War scenarios. Combine them with the player-controllable mods, foremost the A4E Skyhawk and the V10 Bronco, we got a fair number of aircraft available nowadays. Speaking of the Skyhawk, with CVA-31 Bonhomme Richard as our initial flagship, this mod was created with the Skyhawk in mind. To give players the possibility to experience the more confined space of an Essex carrier was essential to bring Vietnam War vessels to life. In this update, Vietnam War Vessels 320, we bring you a number of assets, foremost buildings, that you can use to recreate the epic fights on the ground as well as in the skies over Vietnam. The set of 18 Hoi An structures of traditional Vietnamese buildings, combined with a new apartment building and the European-style French colonial houses, allow you to recreate some settlements of this era. Almost all those buildings sport a destroyed model, so your bombing effects are clearly observable. In an evening on the DCS modding Discord, we got information from Ops on the requirements on a collision shell and line for sling-loadable cargo. This knowledge was missing in the mod before. Now we can sling-load the Connex container as well as a lightweight M113 APC. We had to restrict the weight of the APC to not exceed the lift limit of the Frog. Granted, sling-loading is a brittle affair. It works reasonably well for AI assets over perfectly flat and unobstructed terrain like an airfield, but out in the wilderness, frequent flips over and cargo removal are common. During use of the mod, Marlboros and Fredy noticed an important problem of the IX-514 helicopter landing training ship. The nets would not go down on a dedicated server. We simply removed the alert state for the nets, and they will stay down all times now, strictly for playability. Staying with ships, James has upgraded the carriers by adjusting the arresting wires on all of them. They were previously a bit on the wild side, and James has put them in place and order. Also, he added details to the escalator housing of the Essex carriers. For flight deck decoration, we now have a tow bar and a set of bridle wires available. The light cruiser Oklahoma City was updated to be visible in the Missions Editor's Cruiser category. Previously it was tagged as Heavy Cruiser, which did not work too well. Thanks to Urbi, we have overhauled liveries for the Fresco and Fishbed. Please take a look for yourself at the updated and new texture options for these important North Vietnamese planes. It is always a bit difficult to predict the next steps in our mods. There are many variables at play when it comes to the availability of mod members, the use of models and configs, and what surprises the DCN engine might bring next. Vulkan, anyone? Anyway, here I am and letting you know that two projects might see appearance in the mod next. The first is the overhauled Vigilante from Odyseus. He greatly improved the model and textures, and I'm looking forward to rig it with the new Eagle Dynamics EDM exporter for Blender. Next in line is the B-57 Canberra. This specialized late war plane is in the making for some time now, and I'm currently rigging it. Animating all the control surfaces and the landing gear proved to be a challenge. We'd also like to update the IX-514 helicopter training ship as well as the Charlie and Tango boats. The models and textures could use an overhaul. Beyond that, we still have hope for an accurate improved early war MiG-21 variant and a Kitty Hawk class carrier. With some luck, we can also utilize the AI-generated meshes for some Vietnamese buildings as a low poly offering for a backdrop in a mission. Probably not great for using a helicopter close by, but flying over it with 400 knots or more might do the trick just fine. And then there's the unknown. Odd chances for more ships, planes and land vehicles are always present. Though this might be future talk, more in the medium term, example given next year or beyond. Last, I want to point out to our Ko-fi page, we are collecting donations for subsidizing the Substance Painter yearly license for Odyseus. Odyseus is still busy improving the Vigilante right now. If you like the mod but you prefer to donate to an NGO, consider Blue Dragon Org. They help children in Vietnam. Thanks for watching. TTT.